bourgeois cactus dies, every first-grown hydrangea is just king, like most naturally old people. Queens reserve some time under Venetian windows. Xanthophilus yellow zenith. Do I have your attention now? I saw the confused looks on your faces. So this is actually a poem that I wrote in college. The task was to write a poem about kind of signifying life. Like, what is the meaning of life? That was the question that we had to answer. And so I wrote this poem, and as you have heard, it starts with a cactus dying. It's the end of something. And as you go through this story, as you go through this poem, it just gets weirder and weirder, right? Different words, things that don't quite make sense. And that's how I look at life, and that's how I've looked at life for a long time. That sometimes there's these seemingly unrelated stories that kind of progress, and then it's complete at some point. Our time here is not complete. And I want to kind of transition from that. I know, I'm not the best storyteller, but this poem really means a lot to me. And so this is where I'm going to ask a little bit of participation from everyone here. Are we cool with participating a little bit? A little tiny bit? Just for this shiny dome, can we participate? I'm really bad at storytelling, okay? I'm not nervous whatsoever to be here in front of hundreds and hundreds of amazing people. This is terrifying, okay? So anytime I raise my hand, can you just count with me? So if I raise my hand, we'd start with the number 1. He got it right off the bat. That's this dude. When I raise it again, 2. Oh, see, somebody actually said 4, and I think you're special. So when I do it again,
4, 3.
Oh. Okay, you get it. So I'm going to tell you 6 stories, and these stories, some of which I've never shared on a stage, I've never said on social media. They're very, very near and dear to my heart, and so I have nothing but love for the speakers that came before me, and for Christy, Nicole, the amazing people putting this event on, to give us all kind of a stage to connect and share of ourselves. So I'm going to get super vulnerable, I'm going to feel like I'm in my bikini, but it's, yeah, okay. Thank both of you, wow. Cool. But I'm going to share these stories, and just bear with me. I'm going to be bearing my soul, and I would love for you to hold that space for me to be okay to share these things. So here we are. Story number 1. Thank you. I'm 3 years old, and I remember seeing my dad. He's a pretty buff dude. Takes off his jacket. He's lifting these heavy boxes into a U-Haul truck. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Chi-town, anybody? Yeah, go Cubs. And I'm seeing him lift these heavy boxes, putting them in a U-Haul truck, right? And all I know is that my mom says that we're moving to be closer to my grandmother, in the hometown that my mom grew up in. And I'm super excited about that because I love my Grammy. And so I see my dad just working it, just lifting from the legs. You're supposed to do that. He's lifting from the legs and filling up this U-Haul truck. And I remember he finishes, he lifts me up, and he puts me in the U-Haul truck. And from my strong, muscular dad, he didn't say a word, he just looked at me. And he closed the door, and we drive away, leaving my dad behind. And years later, I got the courage to ask my mom, what happened? Why did you go through a divorce? And she said, he hit me. Story number 2. So fast forward, we have moved to the town that my mom grew up in. And here I am, 11 years old, single working mom, older brother, younger sister, myself. And, I was pretty much raised by daycare and my neighbor, Maria. And her son, Zach, played the drums. Fantastic. fantastic drummer. And so when Maria couldn't watch us, Zach would help out. And he would go down to the basement and jam on his drums. And I was like, I fell in love with the drums. I've been playing drums for a long time, since I was 11. And at this point, I would go to school. I wanted to play drums at school, like forever. I wanted to just be in a band. I wanted to kind of feel cool. And I go to the school, and they say, Michael, you are going to be a fantastic trumpet player. I don't want to play trumpet. I want to play, but I'm so shy at this point. I don't speak a lot. And so my mom, this powerful, amazing woman that she is, she calls up the school and says, no trumpet. He wants to play the drums. And so they were like, okay, scratch off trumpet. He's going to play the drums. And I've been playing drums now for 22 years. You can do the math, I'm 33. For that one person that can't do numbers, 33. And so that's what she did. She made something happen for me. I've been in love with playing the drums since 11. Story number 3. Fast forward a couple years, now I'm 15 years old. And I have an older brother who's, he's 3 years older than I am. He's got a busy, active lifestyle, my younger sister. But I remember that this is the first time that the 3 of us and my mom were home at the same time. It was really kind of cool. We didn't really get that opportunity all that much. And I remember we get this phone call. My mom answers the phone, and we felt something. We all felt it. And we all creep into the kitchen, and my mom's crying on the phone, and she takes a break from her phone call, and my older brother, he speaks up and says, what's going on? What's happening? And she says that my stepmom had been murdered, and the only suspect they had was my dad. Story number 4. A couple of years later, 19 years old. I've gone through high school feeling different, very different than my peers, having what I felt a heavy, heavy secret and a burden that I was carrying. And I was 19 years old. It was my second year of college that I was paying for myself. And I knew I didn't belong there. Like, really all of my life. I don't know if anybody can relate. Not feeling like we connect, like we fit in, like we belong where we're at. I remember when I was in junior high school, I wanted to be in high school. When I was in high school, I wanted to be in college. When I was in college, I wanted to be working. And that was just kind of my regular thing. Here I am, 19 years old. Drummer, right? Like I jam on those drums, right? And I remember I was hanging out at my favorite music shop, and this older dude with this massive beard walks up and he's like, hey dude, you're pretty good. Yeah, okay. So ZZ Top tells me I'm an amazing drummer. That was pretty amazing to me. So long story short, yes. He's like, hey Michael, would you be willing to maybe help me out? I actually own this little company. We make these cool drum sets, but we don't know how to market them. We don't know how to get the word out. And you play online. You're on this new thing called Facebook and YouTube. Maybe you could help spread the word. And it felt like a golden opportunity for me to really follow something I was passionate about. Drums. It's the one thing I had in my life that I really connected to in many, many ways. And of course I said, hell yeah. Like, I quit school and I worked literally every day. I picked up a 9-to-5 job, and then I worked my passion, my passion project from 7 p.m. till 2:30, 3, 4 in the morning every single day for 5 years. And I worked it because I was freaking in love with this thing. Now, they weren't paying me, by the way, because it was a small company. But I was fulfilled by it. So that was the thing. She's like, yeah, you didn't pay your bills. And I was like, well, I had a job. But I did that for 5 years. But we had some really amazing successes. YouTube was really kind to us. We had, luckily and fortunately, by getting out some video content, we had 10,000 views, 50,000 views, 500,000 views, millions of views on these videos. Don't look online for these things. They're embarrassing now. Don't do it. She was like gonna pull out her phone. Don't do it. Don't. Why would you? It's rude. Okay. She wasn't gonna do it. He was. So yeah, for sure it was, dude. Don't do it. They're embarrassing, but It got the attention of the right people. We helped scale out their business. And I started leveraging those successes to work with bigger and bigger companies. And this is where the story kind of takes another little twist. Okay, story number 5. I'm 29 years old now. Fast forward 10 years. I'm 29 years old now. Married. Fell in love with this beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, smart woman. At that point, I had a 1-year-old daughter who, anybody follow me on social media? Anybody? One person, Sarah. I invited her, thank you for the validation. For Sarah Cruz. Oh, thank you. And so I talk about my daughter like you would not believe. She's amazing. She's 5.5, like 0.5, right? Like she is. And she's just amazing. She's smart. She's all these cool things. But back then, she was 1 year old, still smart, amazing, cool, right? But here I am working 80 hours a week sometimes, going to work before she's awake and coming home after she is in bed. And I had to ask myself, Michael, is all this cool stuff, you being this younger, hotshot, amazingly handsome, talented, consultant dude, is this what you signed up for? Remember what you don't want, right? Remember what you don't want. You don't want your daughter to grow up without her dad in her life. Does that make sense? I didn't want that for my daughter. And I had to make a big decision. I decided to leave the consulting world, and now we move on to the fun part of that story. So 4 years ago, this is 4 years ago, not very long ago, I decided to leave that consulting gig. And guess what happens when you leave the thing that felt really super cool and amazing? You got time to face yourself. Holy shit. Are there kids in this room? When I say shit. Yeah, there's like an 8-year-old who's like, yeah, it's like a fucking curse all the time. He's a rad dude. But here's like the reality. I had to connect with myself for real, finally, and for all. And so I realized something. I didn't know who this guy was. I lost sense of this. I was chasing the dollars. I was chasing this outside persona. I was chasing all of this stuff out here, and I lost sight of this guy. I lost touch of this man right here. Okay? I realized also that I'd grown so far apart from my former wife. We just grown so far apart, and anything that we tried to do wasn't helping, wasn't going for us. We went through a divorce, and over a 6-month period, slipped into this nice bubble bath I call depression. Okay? I'm not going to make you raise your hand, anybody that's ever felt that, anybody that's feeling that now, because I speak a lot around the world, and I ask that question sometimes, and I know that 90% of these hands would go up if I asked. I know that. And the other 10%, you're damn liars. Okay? I know that we all can kind of feel that at some point in our life if we're not going through it now. Okay? But for me, what that looked like, I stopped working, stopped taking care of my physical body, I was at my all-time low, energetically, relationally, financially. And it's funny, when you can't pay your bills, you don't get to stay in your new apartment that you got. They ask you kindly to leave. And so here I am, finding myself sleeping in my car. Not fun. Story number... You guys are good. Can't fool me. Story number 6. 4 years later, now I'm 33 years old. I get to speak around the world to amazing people, sharing what I feel is really incredible. Just my story, right? Sharing who I am, just unzipping this little thing right here. There's some music. No music. Don't. I will dance. No. Wow, that's perfect. Amazing. Was not planned. Okay. Damn. How do I finish this? That's emotional. So let's get real emotional right now. No, but now life is pretty good, and you know what the real secret is. The real secret, I don't know if anybody cares to know, is that I got real with myself. I had time and space to look at myself and ask myself the questions like, who am I? What am I all about? What really lights me up? And there's a funny thing, when you look back at the details of your life, they somehow try to tell you a story, whether you're listening or not. Do we understand that? Do we agree? Sometimes those things happen that shape who we are. They don't define us, they refine us. They bring out that masterpiece that we are. And I want to take us back in time, if you will, to something I shared earlier, this poem that I call it the Alpha poem. A bourgeois cactus dies. A, B, C, D. Every first-grown hydrangea, E, F, G, H, is just king. I, J, K. Like most naturally old people. L, M, N, O, P. Queens reserve some time. Q, R, S, T. Under Venetian windows. U, V, W. Xanthophilus. X, yellow, Y, zenith, Z. I guarantee if we all just took the time to look at the details of our life, the details of your life, right? The details of your life, there's a story waiting for us. And if we're willing, able to recognize those stories, we can change ourselves. If we can change ourselves, we can change this damn world. Thank you.